Broadcasting from New York, New York. It's Grant's Rants, Hollywood Talk.
New Jersey Housewives wrap, and we are ready to critique. Roni kicks off. We're talking the good and the bad. Bethany Frankel is more intense than ever. Tori Spelling's Instagram is chaos. Ellen takes zero accountability. What is her legacy? And Nicki Minaj clings to relevancy. That and more with Hollywood Lian right here. Let the ranting begin. I am joined by Hollywood Lian from Everyone is Terrible Pod. Welcome back to Grant's Rants.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I hope that these topics are at all interesting to you, and because it's limiting, as I've been saying the last couple of times on this podcast. But let's start off with the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Let's get right into it. It's over. The season has ended. 13 episodes. My reaction is, thank God it's over. I'm done. How do you feel?
I thought it was a really short season, but you know what I am enjoying? I'm enjoying Joe Gorga's feet to the fire. Like, he's been chauvinistic for so long. It's time to turn the tables on him, if you know what I mean.
But how real is it? I keep going back and forth. Like, am I being played, or is this really like what Melissa is up against? Because she says things like, you don't know what I like. It's whatever you think I'm dealing with is like could be worse. And then I also see them like smiling through scenes at each other. So like, what's real?
As far as what they present together as a couple on the show, I never usually believe it because their stories are fake every season. Mm-hmm. I'm leaning more presentation wise, like outside of the group. I think everyone's just tired of the whole, I think even Melissa said it on the show, the 1950s thing. And I'm sure that does get old. So to a certain extent, I do believe that she's kind of over that. But I definitely don't really believe everything else they've presented on the show. You know what I mean? But as far as the whole season as a whole, I thought we started off with a great bang. And there's really not much left except, go to this reunion and kind of expose the holes in the story.
Do we know if it's 3 parts? Because they really don't need 3 parts for this. I mean, there's nothing to discuss in my point of view. Like, I'm kind of done, to be honest with you. Like, I'm good. I don't need a reunion. I don't have any unanswered questions. So I'm okay. Like, I mean, to me, I thought it was pretty lousy this season, but I give them a pass because, look, it's shot during COVID. You wouldn't know by looking at this show. I mean, there wasn't a mask within 6 feet of a camera, but it's okay. I think, however, though, this is the most low class city there could ever be. I just think it's so low end. And it's just, I don't know. I have to question, am I entertained? I still don't really know if I am. I don't know. We'll talk about it with like New York, but I don't know. Did you find yourself entertained this season?
Oh my God, Grant. I didn't know that New Jersey was on your list this season of the
you know they all are. I'm an equal opportunity hater.
And you know what? I'm usually on board with you because I'm at that end of the spectrum as well with Bravo in general. But I have a soft spot for New Jersey. I really do. And it's just because they are what they are. It is what it is kind of situation. And like, you have to either love it or hate it. So as far as like New Jersey as a whole, I do love them. But I do feel like it was a little lackluster. But I think it started off great with the whole Jackie Theresa thing. But then Jackie tried to stretch it. And then, of course, everyone was like, all right, now we're on Team Theresa again. We're over you. But as far as everyone else, no one really brought anything. But as far as holes in the story, the only thing that I really want to talk about is stuff that kind of Jennifer Aydin said that I was thinking as well. Like she said, if Joe Benito said it at the party and he knew about it, that means Margaret knew about it. So she's like, why is she going so hard to shut him down? Mm-hmm. And it's because she knew about the secret before. So I feel like it's going to be kind of nice to see that hole come out, just because Margaret was on my show and the way she kind of played it out to be was not the way it was presented on the show. So
that usually happens. Yeah, that's the thing. I would be fine with this if, the card reader over there asks Margaret what's happening with Joe, and with how that came to be. But we know that it's going to be Joe in the hot seat. It's too much of the house husbands. I would rather see this play out strictly with the women. The reason my biggest problem with New Jersey is having to look at these house husbands every week, every other scene. Joe Gorga driving story. It's too much. I don't care about him, and I'm not into it. So yeah, let me know. Let me know what the answer is. I may or may not watch.
People are loving the house husbands, I have to say.
They are. I know. It's my unpopular opinion. I know.
Yes. And you know what? I do enjoy them. I don't want to see it every week, but I do enjoy every now and then the boys' night, the boys' perspective. It's very chill here and there. But I also think it's also very calculated. Like Joe Gorga gossips like he's one of the girls as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm going to take anybody's really chill advice, it would be like Bill Iden. Like he has to deal with Jennifer Iden, and the fact that he's just so level-headed and cool and still a prestigious surgeon while dealing with Jennifer Iden.
People love Bill. My sister and I cannot figure it out. Yeah, what is it about him?
Oh my God, I think he's great. I don't know. I just think he's great. I don't know. Like I'm
she
Latino,
thinks he's
so
she thinks he's very attractive. Do you think he's a handsome guy?
I do think he's attractive. I like big, tall guys, and he's a boss and tall and in charge, and he's very cultured. And as someone that comes from, the Latin culture, we love other people that are passionate about their cultures. Even if it's kind of just very traditional, it's like new age culture. And I like Bill. I like Bill a lot. Wow. Like these guys were scumbags in the early days. Like what Frank did to Dolores, like, come on.
Well, that's what I go back to
free pass.
With Bill. No matter what, I mean, compared to the other men on the canvas, Bill does look like the biggest winner because, yeah, he's not Joe Gorga, Frank Catania level stupid. So, yeah, I get it. I mean, compared to the other people in the room, I can see the attraction to Bill in that sense. But let's go through these housewives and just briefly go through them. New Jersey housewives, what they contributed this season, because I might, again, filling in blanks, I might have missed something. But so let's start with Dolores. David, okay, so the story continues. What's new? What happened? What's new?
Nothing.
Joe Gorga called her broken. She's renovating her house. Am I missing anything?
Nope.
Okay. Jennifer, her parents aren't speaking. They're still not speaking. And then they cooked up this heavy drinking storyline. Am I missing anything?
The heavy drinking story is like stupid because obviously you could tell she doesn't drink every day at home. That's why when she goes that's why when they are filming and she does have one drink, all of a sudden she's hammered and running her mouth. So I don't think it's a drinking problem. I think it's more of just a problem. Not like a drinking problem. It's more like you're just a party problem.
Yes.
If you know what I'm saying. But as far as her and the mom thing, I am intrigued. She shouldn't have gotten in the middle. That's all I have to say about it. Because now no good deed goes unpunished. And I've gotten so much of the good deed punishment in like the last 10 years of my life. I'm like, I am done doing.
Yeah, I understand. I get that. Yeah, no, I will credit the whole show, Jennifer. That story with her parents seemed to be very real to me. I was interested in it. It was what was really happening in her life, in her house. So I'll give them some credit for that for sure. So yes. I'm not mad at that. Now, Margaret, I sat here. I know she wrote a book. I can't think of a thing of what her storyline was other than that renovation.
She really didn't have one other than like kind of mediate what was happening, occasionally fight with Jennifer. It was more about like, like when Erica Jane first came on and then like everyone loved Erica Jane. And then she started, well, let me take advantage of the fashion and start doing a bunch of things. I feel like Margaret is in that phase where she's like taking advantage of the platform and like the exposure. So she's like book, house and presentation and new weave and I feel like so she's in that new phase. 15th, I feel like
yeah,
but it's like you still got to contribute storyline wise. Like I want to hear about what, like, you're still not talking to your kids. Like I want to hear about you, Joe and Jan. Like, give us more. There's more than just exposing your mom. Like,
Right. Yeah. Who I
like,
love the
even with the
mother,
book,
but yeah.
I love the book. But even like with the mom, you have to like really look at it from afar and realize that she's kind of thrown her mom under the bus a couple times. Like, because her mom's like, I thought we've been good for 20 years. All of a sudden you're bringing up this book and saying you never felt safe. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, Mom, I got to do something. There's nothing else happening. And I agree. There really isn't nothing else happening.
Yeah. I expected more from Margaret this season, to say the least. Moving on to Theresa, who always swallows the show whole. I have never cared less about Theresa, especially now with this new boyfriend. I'm so not invested. I know there's a lot being said about him and their relationship. I gotta be honest, I don't really care. I don't really care about her investment property or if she sells the house or not. I'm kind of done with Theresa's story. We sat through it for how long?
Yeah.
So
well, let's talk about him then. He's weird and his face is really red. And I low-key heard he was a Scientologist. Like, no.
Really?
And that's like,
I did get some Grant Cardone vibes from him. I don't know if anyone listening knows who Grant Cardone is. He's a big Scientologist who is another media personality who had a show called Grant Rant. And
oh my God.
Yeah, so if you Google me, you'll find him probably, or Google him, you won't find me because of the algorithm. But yeah, I got similar vibes, just to say the least.
Oh my God. Well, okay, so like I could deal with a red face, like whatever. That's just like your alcoholism. I could deal with the weirdness. That's just like who you are. Like if you're, that age and like still single, there's already a red flag that has to come out eventually. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the Scientology thing, I'm just like, oh honey, if that's true, Theresa, run for your life and hide your money, girl.
I have to wonder why this man of a particular age is not only is he on TV, but he signed, or the kids, his sons, signed clearances for their faces to be shown in that picture they showed on the finale. That is strange to me. I feel like a man of that age would want nothing to do with this project, would not want to appear on the show, or he'd do it as like a one-off favor, but not like doing, I think it went too far. It's questionable to me. I don't understand what his motivation is.
Well, the motive isn't good or pure if you put it that way. I didn't know that. I kind of have an opinion about that as well. Even Theresa said it on the show herself. She was like, I can't trust people. I don't know what people really want. And I'm like, well, girl, he's very happy to be on TV. That usually is a red flag right there.
And you know what? Teresa's an easy target for people with an agenda. I mean, if you just tell her all the right things, buy her some gifts, sleep with her often, shower her with your presence. I mean, that a narcissist or somebody who can come in there and easily manipulate her, she's like a target for that, unfortunately. So I hope we're both wrong. Who knows? Now, moving on to Jackie. So yes, we'll credit her. The fight in the first episode, the analogy, went strong out of the gate. But then after that story wrapped, I mean, she was barely even on the show in the last 3 weeks. So what's she got going on?
Well, she was probably recovering and probably completely terrified by Theresa. But, she does come back with these little jabs that you think are just going to be little jabs, but she kind of like, she kind of knocks the wind out of you with like, oh, did you learn that in jail? But then she does kind of run and hide after that. And then she cries. So I don't know. With Jackie, I really have such a fickle relationship with her, unfortunately. I think her husband is probably the best part about her. And it's not that I just want to like talk about him in a way where I'm like, oh, he's so attractive. Let's just exploit him because I find him physically attractive. I like him as a person because he's like a former fat guy who is now hot and like really hot, not just like run of the mill. When you get skinny, your attractiveness comes out. Like he found his like inner hotness, and I'm just rooting for him. I like him. I wish he had more blowjobs in his life.
I like the two of them. I don't mind them, but people really hate Jackie. I'm fine with her. Whatever. I mean, that's just whatever.
She's like a very, very timid version of Bethany to me. She's like a very timid, boring, bland version of Bethany. Like if we put Bethany in the microwave and all the juice came out of her.
I am surprised.
Jackie left.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and I'm surprised that Jackie is still on the show, to be honest. But lastly, Melissa, again, we talked about the fake storylines. This thing with Joe. Is anyone really that invested? I don't want to see them get divorced, but I also don't want to be manipulated. And that was the first thing that they did when they promoted the show was like, are they on the verge of divorce? And so, like, if you're going to play like that and that's not true, then I don't have much respect for it. So I don't really know what to say about her other than we know Melissa's not going anywhere. Bravo favors her highly. She was there at that mashup trip. So with Melissa, that's what you get. You get her same way you get Theresa, whether you want them or not.
And think about it. She's like a dream come true cast member. She does her job on the show. If they ask her to rouse some feathers up with Dolores, she'll do it in her own Barney Disney way that doesn't really go anywhere. But at the same time, she's invested with the relationship with Theresa. She's there to do her job. And then she gets off the show and she doesn't do any spoilers. She doesn't do any podcasts. She's not one of the people running around that you have to worry about saying something crazy. Oh, we're going to fine her. She went on a bunch of podcasts and talk. You know what I mean? She's just like a perfect Bravo, like teacher's pet, in my opinion.
Yes, a good little soldier over there. Yep.
Exactly. And we're all about the takedown of Bravo. We're like, no, shake this building up.
I don't know what else to say. That Melissa, like I said, we're going to be stuck with her no matter what. But now, though, this show really needs to mix it up. I don't think anyone's leaving, but it looks like they're going to add someone. There's a rumor of 1 or 2 housewives being added. I don't know. This cast has been strong for a while, but it's now getting tired. It needs to be mixed up. There's a rumor that there's this new housewife, Aikisha Holly Colon. I could be pronouncing the last name wrong. It's Colon. So I don't want to call the woman Colin, but that might be her last name. But they need it. She's the wife of a former football player and a woman of color, it looks like. And I hope that they can add her in because they really need a new catalyst or just some type of new ingredient to the show. Desperately, in my opinion.
We'll see. I do agree with the strong casting. I think they bring it enough every season. I don't know if I want to see, a new cast member per se. Like, I feel like when you throw in someone so brand spanking new, it like look what's happening on Roni. Like, I know we're going to talk about Roni eventually, but I just don't.
We can go there now. Yeah.
I feel like you have to kind of search with the friends around the friends kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to see who they're hanging out with and see who you can bring in organically. Because when you throw a whole brand new piece into the puzzle, sometimes we're just so distracted. It doesn't really work. Like, Roni is not working for me right now. And it's already lackluster in general, but now throw in Ebony, who is great as a person, but to throwing it in with the New York Housewives, I don't know if that's going to work.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, we're talking about predominantly white casts. They want to be able to bring in people of color, which is great. But like you said, they don't necessarily fit organically into that group. They're not longtime friends like Dorinda, who was friends for 20 years with Lian, whatever. So, but if that's the vehicle of being able to add diversity into these shows, then sometimes it might be worth the gamble of just putting someone in and seeing if they thrive and gel with the group. And what do? Yeah. Someone like Ramona isn't going to have like a bunch of multicultural friends that want to appear on the show that are of means that, like are going to play ball that Bravo loves. And so, I mean, what do you do? So in this case, this woman, I don't know anything about her, but she could just be kind of plucked and brought into this group. But it does add a diverse element to the show. So what do you do?
I'm all about the diversity. Like, I'm never going to speak out against diversity and stuff. But I saw a tweet recently that kind of resonated with me. And it was a person of color tweeting about, always, like, now the way that they're including us is like, now we're the teachers. And it's like, we have Atlanta, which is all black cast, and we love it. It works. It's just, it works. Mm-hmm. And then we see what's happening with Ebony on Real Housewives of New York City. And it's like, are we really going to get to know Ebony, or is she going to go in there and be like a teacher? Like, oh, we got to teach these white women, how to say the right things and like not be ignorant and stuff. And it's like, are people of color just going to be like the new teachers? It was a tweet very relevant to that. And I'm like, I understand that. Like, who wants to come in and always be like the one that's like, oh, that's not right. You have to say this. And it's like, can I just be myself? I don't want to be a teacher of white privilege. You know what I mean?
It's not Ebony's job. Yeah, it's not her job to educate them. I get it. But also, she's very open, even like with Good Morning America, that she's using this as a platform. She wants to be able to use her voice to, I don't want to use the word educate, but to be able to have these discussions. So it's, something that she's willing to take on. Well, but I understand on a bigger scale. Like, yeah, it's not their responsibility to, the same way in like the gay community. It's not a job of a gay person to get other people to get on board with their lifestyle. So
that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from diversity or inclusion. It's like, we just got to look at the bigger picture. And you hit it on the head with the gay thing. I'm like, I've experienced that so many times. And it's like, I'm not going to be your friend so you can have like the sassy gay friend. I'm not the sassy gay friend all the time. Like, honey, I am way past that. You're gonna get some realness is what you're gonna get. So if you want that 30s realness, come hang out with me. It's pretty terrible over here.
Since I've moved, I've gotten so black and white with everything. Like I'm becoming Bethany, I think, in certain ways. Oh dear God! But like, yeah, I'm like, what are we doing? How much time is this? What's the point of this? Like, I am getting to be like so quick and like no time, no patience, and I think it's just like, I'm just embracing it. I don't know what to say. That's just kind of like my new mentality is like, what are we doing? Let's go.
That's what happens as you get older, honey. That's why I always say, if you don't have nothing nice to say, come sit by me. Sit by me.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about Roni, because I want to get your thoughts and opinions. We've talked about it. My opinion is the cast is too small. This was not the time to cut someone like Dorinda. Would love her or hate her. It just creatively, it just wasn't the right time to do that. However, I'm still entertained. The episode that I just watched, episode 2, ended, and I was kind of like ready for more. So that's encouraging. I'm encouraged, but a little concerned at the same time, because they're not doing anything out in public, and it's 5 people, and that gets tiring quickly.
Yes, I agree. It's just such a small cast. It feels like we're waiting for people to show up.
Yeah.
It's like, they're all sitting around the table. Who are we waiting for? And it's like, no, that's it, honey.
Yeah.
I feel like Dorinda did need a season off, but I feel like she is needed. She's just such a good housewife. You know what I mean? It is what it is with Dorinda. I love her. Even when she's bad, I'm just like, I call her out. It's not like I don't.
Yeah. They should have worked something out. They should have worked. I don't know if she would have came back as a friend, but they should have worked something out with more of a limited capacity or something, because it's a loss. And I'm sure production feels it as well, and story, and it's just not great.
Leah McSweeney is not going to make Roni great again. Okay, honey?
No.
She's not enough to carry the whole show. Her outfits are terrible. I'm glad she got the nose job. It makes her face softer. It's less manly. Ramona is as evil as she's always going to be. I feel like the new Lumona, the new pairing of Luann and Ramona could be good. I feel like it's about time that Ramona has like a good connection with Luann and treats her good. Like, Ramona has never treated Luann right. Never. Even when she's had her like big moments where it's like, we have to celebrate Luann at some point. You know what I mean? It's like, no, she's never wanted to do that. And everyone knows how I feel about Luann. She's my favorite housewife because journey-wise, she's had the best journey. Luann, best housewife of all time. That's all I'm saying.
I enjoy Luann. I'm so glad she's still on the show. I do like that we've got 3 of the more legacy characters, and then we've got 2 new heads, new faces. I like that we have some new people here. Too small. They should have expanded. But not only that, this show has such history now. There should have been maybe someone brought back. And I know that we're going to have to see Heather, which is fine, but like, that's like, she's there for like 5 minutes, like I've been saying on a lot of different shows. So like, that's not really enough. It should have been more. I feel like, okay, like let's bring someone in from the middle. We've got the original cast, the new heads, and then we need someone kind of in between. So I would like to see more of Heather, but that's not happening.
No one wants to see Heather. Heather really thought she was going to come back and like slide right in, and everyone's going to be like, oh my God, we want Heather back. And it's like, no, Heather, You came in and you went right out the back door running from Leah McSweeney.
Yep.
So if you're going to go up against Leah McSweeney and she's going to make you run out the back door, oh, she's assaulted me. I'm like, you know what? Maybe you can't play with the big players anymore. Maybe you should go back to your little husband.
I just don't know who else they would have gotten from the past to come on here. I don't know who else they would have been down to do this. So it kind of had to be her. So, I mean, okay, if it's going to be for like, looks like it's literally going to be like a scene. So like, okay, I guess, but it'd be like,
it doesn't,
that's
it doesn't
that's
even
where we're
seem
lacking.
that bad either. Like it doesn't even seem
I don't know.
Leah really gave it to her, but I guess we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, I mean, there's room for other people on the show, lots of room. And when you see someone like Heather come on for like a day, it's okay. Now what? It makes you a little concerned. So anyway, and I actually was like excited when Leah joked that she was going to have Elise come because I was like, oh, great. No, just a joke. Sadly,
that's another one that I was just like, Shannon Doherty's mom, Elise, she's just not working out for me. It's the really dark black hair. I just don't really trust her.
Before go ahead.
I'm just like, she reminds me kind of like the evil Mariah, you know, when Mariah had black hair in the Heartbreaker video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, she's
all she does is talk about cryptocurrency on Instagram. Like that's her whole existence. So she's busy, I guess. Yeah, really. And these last moments before we transition out of this first part, Sonia and Josh Flagg, are you following this on Instagram? This has really gotten me through the week.
Honestly, I totally agree with you. I was like, okay, first of all, Sonia's here. Let's go find her. Second of all, I'm like, she is living her life right now. You know, Sonia loves the Hollywood glamour, and that's what she tries to emulate every season and in the past and bring up in New York style, like New York glamour. But right now she is living her Hollywood glamour life. She's like, oh, I'm at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Oh, I'm at the Beverly Hills after party in the mansions. And I'm like, yes, you are, honey. You have a good time and let those Beverly Hills gays praise you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for those who don't know, if you look at Josh Flagg's Instagram or Sonia's Instagram, there's a storyline of her staying with him. It's not for any TV show. It probably should be, but it's interesting to see these two worlds collide because, yeah, she's like more of a crazy mess than ever. And he kind of just puts up with it, but shades her to her face. And then apparently she like just goes with her like magnifiers, like the big glasses to like the wine aisle at Rite Aid. Like, and that's what they do. It's why
isn't this being filmed?
Yeah.
You know,
it's
Bravo's coming to an end. You know, that's why they're like, let's pluck these and put them together. Let's do an all-stars. Honey, you got a new show right here at the tip of your hands and you're not doing anything about it.
It's called The Real House Guests, and you pair up Bravo former and current people and you stick them in each other direct, like wife up, but they're in that person's house. So if something breaks or if something happens, it's like there's stakes. They're not renting an Airbnb where if you broke a window, production will pay for it. Like, no, let's see these people rip up each other's homes. Let's go. But yeah, I mean, there's my $1 million idea.
And Grant and I will be executive producers on it. Thank you very much. That's a wrap.
We're taking ownership right here for the concept. So note that. All right. When we come back, we have to talk about a lot more stuff happening in pop culture, including Bethany's show. I know it's been discussed at length, but not until we discuss it. So that and more in a moment. Now this.